Welcome back again, everyone, to Nortman Reviews, and we are looking at another X-Men book. Well, that's a fucking shock, but we're leaping forward. We're going in forward in time, skipping a bunch of shit, and we're going to the Astonishing X-Men. X-Men was a big thing for such a long time, right? And then I guess sales weren't doing as good, and then like they rebooted the franchise with Grant Morrison. Frank Quietly. They did some cool stuff, some crazy, weird stuff. Grant Morrison is a good writer, but he gets some crazy ideas. And that's when they put them in the leather. I think that's when White Queen became more of a, she had joined the X-Men, became more of a good guy as opposed to the villain that she was for such a long time. Magneto was around. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened, but that run had come to an end, and how it came to an end was Jean Grey died again, and there's this 4-issue wrap up finale drawn by Mark Silvestri, where it was like kind of in the future, and it was this apocalyptic future of the X-Men, and to stop that from happening, my brother Rob did the videos on this. They're really good. Go check out his channel to see his videos on them. But Jean Grey as Phoenix in the future, she somehow manipulated Cyclops in the past because he was ready to quit. Like Jean Grey was dead, the love of his life, whatever, was ready to quit. But Jean Grey put in a suggestion for him to continue going, and to do that, like, he hooked up with White Queen. Like, she was there trying to get with him, and he succumbed to her, I guess, and, like, continued the fight. So the astral ghostly projection of Jean Grey told Cyclops to bang White Queen, I guess. So that's how it ended, So now that was the end of Grant Morrison's run. So now we pick up with Astonishing X-Men, and they got Joss Whedon to write it. Joss Whedon, we all know, I guess he's canceled now for some stuff he did with Justice League. But anyways, you all know that. I don't need to get into it. But at the time, he was like pretty big deal, with his shows of Buffy and Angel. Good writer, so they brought him on to write Astonishing X-Men. And through this, he eventually got on to the Avengers. So, like him or not, Joss Whedon is a fucking important person with the MCU, right? And with Marvel Comics in general. So, he was tasked to reboot the X-Men, and they brought on John Cassidy as the artist. I think he was doing stuff with Captain America. Was aware of him, but this was my first time really reading John Cassidy's stuff, and he is a really good artist, which we'll see. I know there was an image that he had drawn. I can't remember even what it was of. Was it Wolverine? Where it just looked like shit, and people were like, "What the fuck?" People must have like paid him $5 to give him 5 minutes to draw this like thing, but that's not the artist John Cassidy is. He is a good fucking artist. I don't think he did this cover though. Eisenhower, who's this signature? Robert, will you tell me who this signature is? Who did this cover? I'm not sure. So let's get into it, shall we? It starts with some creepy shit. It's like a nightmare sequence. This thing is saying her screams are yummy, it says. It's weird, creepy mouth. Says daddy down there. I'm already creeped out. I don't want to continue. Thanks for watching. Just kidding. But this girl is having, like, this dad comes in and she screams. This weird nightmare, and this doctor comes in. He's like, "It's all right. I'm here. It was just a dream." She's like, "I don't want it to come back. It never will. It never will." But there's this dude watching behind this pane glass window of her sleeping. So what the fuck's going on? So, cut to Gifted. It's the title of the storyline. And then we got Kitty Pryde here. Nothing has changed, and this is her coming back to the X-Men for like the first time in a long time. she had been with Excalibur for so long. I don't even know like all the shit that she was doing, but Joss Whedon wanted to bring her back. So she's remembering when she first came to the X-Men. I think I remember reading those through like the classic X-Men issues, or you can watch the Pride of the X-Men, basically the same thing on YouTube. That one cool episode, pilot episode. So Kitty Pryde comes and she phases through the wall and she's just remembering stuff. She remembers this time. That was like the opening of a book, like an homage to like it was the splash page opening to one of the issues back in the day with the classic X-Men, with her turning around and yelling that Professor Xavier is a jerk. So she's remembering that. She's like, I'm a kid all over again, just being in these halls. But she's like, it's the pieces. It seems smaller. And then she's remembering, Colossus here and her flirting with him with this thing. She was like, what, fucking 14? How old was he? That's fucking weird and creepy in a weird way. 70s and 80s. What a great time, huh? So she's, like, the place is empty, so she's wandering through. She's come back to be an X-Men or do whatever. She phases through and she pops her head in this huge auditorium. She's like, it's possible that I'm late. And you got White Queen, Beast, Cyclops there. She says, quite so. And so they're addressing all these people. I'm guessing these are mutants coming to the school. And White Queen, she's head mistress, I guess. She's like, this children is Kitty Pryde, who apparently feels the need to make a grand entrance. I'm sorry, I was busy remembering to put on all my clothes. That's funny. I'm so gushingly glad you could join us. So this is like an orientation for all these young mutants who are going to enroll in Xavier's school. So they're like, oh, Kitty, it's great to see you. He's like, Scott's speech was great. You missed that. And he's like, yeah, even I was bored, Scott says. So Emma, she keeps going on about addressing the students. She says, since Xavier is on sabbatical, Mr. Summers and myself will be acting heads of school. Dr. McCoy, Miss Pryde will round out the senior staff along with Logan, who is elsewhere. What does she mean elsewhere? Like, who fucking knows? And now she continues on. This is a place of learning, not just about your mutant gifts, but about the world. Control your powers. The safety of those is of paramount importance. Violence of any kind will never be tolerated. Yeah, John Cassidy's a good artist. I like this, and the coloring on the makeup here is kind of cool. Great art. Good stuff. Oh my God, these fucking Sentinels come bursting in out of nowhere. As soon as she says violence of any kind will never be tolerated, and they're fucking attacked by Sentinels. And like fucking Beast is getting ready to go. Cyclops is already shooting, but Emma here, she's not phased. She's phased. She's unphased. Get it? She's phased because her powers. Never mind. But she clicks White Queen here. She clicks a couple of buttons: danger room, environment, auditorium, simulation, and it was a hologram. It was a danger room scenario. That must be where they're at. And it just ends. And then she's like, everyone had freaked out. It's like, so what have we learned? Kind of a cool opening. We have learned the first lesson. They will always hate us. I like that picture. I like the way he does her hair styled right here. She says, we will never live in a world of peace. Humans will always hate us. We must never mistake that for trust. We must give the ordinary humans respect, compliance, and understanding, and we must never mistake that for trust. So, and then, yeah, like the scowl on her face, the details in her. I mean, it's a simple drawing, but it's really good. And they're like, you should have told me you were going to do that. You would have said no. Yeah, among other things. So they're arguing about this back here. Emma and Scott. And then she's like, I scanned them, like, more than nearly 10% of them were happy about the thought of a fight. It's like we'll narrow it down on the roster, like, but she says tomorrow because she's like, right now I want to fuck you, I want to sit on your face, Cyclops, and she does. So nighttime, morning time, and he wakes up and someone says, "So tell me, which stage of grieving is this?" There's fucking Wolverine. And he should have said something like, "Does she taste like vanilla or something?" I don't know. What would a white queen taste like? It's fucking weird and creepy, John. Why bring that up? Anyways, Cyclops, as he hears Wolverine say this, he says denial, and he fucking, like, Cyclops just, like, optic blasts his ass right out of the fucking school. Just, and I love this. He falls on his back, but, like, you can feel, like, the action, the energy. He falls on his back, but just immediately backflips back onto his feet. Strike a nerve, Summer. Cyclops like, this is good. The guy who's tried to steal my wife since the day he met us is going to tell me all about what's proper. Yeah, well, Cyclops, you've been kind of a douche. Like, he fucking, like, when this whole stuff with Madeline Pryor, when she came around, and then when Jean Grey came back, he had a baby with Madeline Pryor, but just, like, basically kicked her to the curb when Jean Grey came back in the comics. So Cyclops been kind of portrayed as a douche anyways. So they're still arguing. Wolverine's still giving him shit here. And he's like, that healing power of yours is about to come in real handy. And Beast's like, what's this all about? Like, what do you think? And Emma's like, superpowers, scintillating wit, and the best body money can buy, and I still rate below a corpse. Like, Cyclops still gets mad at people talking about Jean Grey. So now the five main ones are talking. Like, these are the five main characters of this Astonishing X-Men. For now, another one comes up. And they're in the danger room. This is kind of cool. They're on the Hawaiian Islands. Just a place for them to kind of hang out. And Beast is like, you can't do that in front of the students. Where did this nonsense come from? And Cyclops like, he's not going to apologize, and I won't accept one. And then he says, it was inexcusable, and this is what I have to say will be all the more absurd, but I'm going to say it anyways. We are a team. We're a superhero team. It's time to start acting like one. And Wolverine's like, oh god, this is going to be about tights, because they were wearing like leather. They put them in black leather, I'm guessing, because of the X-Men movies and making them a little bit more synced up with that. And Cyclops is like, it's about everything: truth, perception. We've saved the world hundreds of times over and over again, but everyone thinks we're just as bad as Magneto. We have a purpose, but we've forgotten it, and the rest of the world has forgotten it too. And then they start talking about the danger room and what it can do now. And Cyclops starts talking about, like, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, they're not being persecuted. They're not being chased down the streets with torches. And he says superheroes wear costumes. And quite frankly, all the black leather is making people nervous. And Kitty Pryde's like, okay, cool, but why am I here? I'm not a fighter like you guys. Wolverine's like, you been in a plenty kid, I'll take you at my back any day. And he's like, yeah, you're not a fighter, and your power isn't aggressive, but it's protective, and that's good to show people that we're not just like an aggressive race, that we're protecting people. And then he starts talking that Hank's articulate as anything, but what people see is mostly a beast. You know, he's a monster. Emma's a former villain. Logan's a thug. He's like, but I can lead a team. But I haven't looked anybody in the eye since I was 15. So he's basically saying, you know, why that they're being put into outfits, why they're going away from the black leather. They need to be portraying themselves as a superhero team like the Avengers and Fantastic Four. So, they're gonna, like, Beast here wants to see the outfits real bad. And then some other people are talking. I think it was the doctor and kid from the beginning. And it's going back and forth from several different scenes. This lady is giving a speech somewhere. The X-Men are chit-chatting with each other. Wolverine's talking with Kitty about being superheroes, and that Cyclops is crazy. And this lady's talking about what is a mutant. And then it goes to this other scene of this, like, some party, and these, like, fucking terrorists are robbing it, looks like. And there's a hostage situation. So Cyclops is seeing this on the television, and he's like, it's now or never. And then it's going back to this lady. She's giving a speech, and she's like, I will tell you what mutants are. And then it goes back to the people, the hostages, and you see this creepy fucking ugly ass monster dude with his, like, no nose thing. And I'm pretty sure that's who was at the beginning here. And then it cuts to this lady, and she's talking about people. They're like, mutants are just people, no better or worse than anybody else. And they're like, talk about that being a mutant is a disease. And then you got Kitty Pryde. She's checking out White Queen, because why wouldn't she? And then everyone's getting geared up. Time to make nice with the public, eh, Summers? We have to do more than that, Logan. We have to astonish them. Astonishing X-Men. Get it. Now, this is a cool scene and all. But there's a lot of wasted space, in my opinion. Like, you don't always need to, like, blow up everything. You don't need to fill in shit with words all the time. And this image speaks volumes, right? But I feel it would have had a little bit more impact if they would just blow it up a little bit. Like, is all this shit necessary? You know, they're going into a hangar. They're going to the Blackbird. This should be, these figures should be bigger, in my opinion. That would have probably carried more weight with me. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, but what do you think about that kind of stuff? Anyways, cool hero shot of them walking. First time you see their, like, costumes. If you can call that a costume. And then so they take off. There's the basketball court. And the people who are taking the hostages, X-Men, blasting away, and then the doctor is still talking. Mutants are not the next step in evolution. They are not the end of humankind. The mutant gene is nothing more than a disease, a corruption of healthy cellular activity, and now at last, we have a cure. And that's how it ends. So I was watching some YouTube videos, and they were going on, like, this channel was New Rockstars. They were going over all the X-Men movies, all the Wolverine movies, and, you know, leading up to the Deadpool stuff coming out. And they were talking about X-Men 3, doing a deep dive on that, and about how that movie had two storylines, the fucking Phoenix Saga that was horrible, and the Mutant Cure, which was also horrible. And they wanted to do the Mutant Cure because this was around the same time, I guess. What year was this? 2004. Yeah. So this had come out, and they wanted to do, and this was kind of a big deal, so they wanted to, I don't know, do that storyline, but then they also want to do the Dark Phoenix storyline, so they should have just done the Cure storyline and then done a fourth movie with the Dark Phoenix, or just, like, do all of them better altogether anyways, because we won't get into those movies, but cool stuff. Astonishing X-Men. This was like New Avengers was going on. I did a thing on Avengers Disassembled. When did this come out? September of 2004. This is July. So Avengers and X-Men stuff are like big stuff is going on between both of them, and that they're going to collide at some point in House of M, which I'm definitely going to look at. So Astonishing X-Men, what do you think of this run by Joss Whedon? Where does it sit in with you with like all the X-Men stuff? I know a lot of people like the old school stuff with Onslaught and Age of Apocalypse, and the stuff before that with Chris Claremont and Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Rob Liefeld on X-Force, but and the Grant Morrison run was cool, but the Astonishing X-Men stuff was really cool for while it was going on too. So I really dug it. What do you think? If you liked it, give this video a like. If you're new, hit subscribe. Tell me what else, other kind of storylines you want to see, and I'll see what I can do about getting to them. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.